Ready? Oh, you got tonight's invocation, right? Right. You got one? Wow, we need a lot of prayer. We need a lot of prayer.
Well, you were worried about
We need a lot of prayer.
Maybe. We'll see.
Need a lot of prayer. All right. So, we ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Tuesday, August 30th City Council Agenda Business Meeting. I will call this meeting to order. Agents and invocation, if she so chooses, will be led by Vice Chairwoman Dolly.
Okay, we can stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. We can have a brief prayer. Heavenly Father, we love you so much. We thank you for this opportunity to serve your people. We pray for wisdom, discernment, and strength as we go through this meeting and help everything to be done decently and in order. God, we love you and thank you. In the name of Jesus, we amen.
Amen. All right. Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. We have no special presentations this evening. We'll take a motion on our minutes. A motion to approve the minutes. Without objection, the minutes will stand. We have ordinances on final reading under items planning A, B, and C without objection. We'll take as a package. Madam Clerk, A, B, and C, please.
An ordinance to amend, item A, an ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38, zoning ordinance so as to rezone property located at 1023 East 13th Street from R3 residential zone to UGC urban general commercial zone subject to certain conditions. Item B, an ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38, zoning ordinance so as to rezone property located at 100 East 13th Street from R3 residential zone to during commercial zone subject to certain conditions. Item C, an ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38, zoning ordinance. Article 5, zoning regulations, Division 1, R1 residential zone, Section 3844, height and area regulations. 6, minimum lot frontage. 7, minimum suburban infill lot frontage and setback, and to delete Division 30, urban infill lot compatibility option.
Chair will entertain a motion. I have a motion to approve. I do hear a second. Questions, comments before we vote? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Items carry. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Under Public Works, Madam Clerk, we're going to take this as a package without objection from the council. Items D through I, please.
Item D, an ordinance closing and abandoning a portion of a right-of-way located in the 1000 block of Winthrop Street as detailed on the attached map subject to certain conditions. Item E, an ordinance closing and abandoning a portion of a right-of-way located in the 500 block of Crutzen Street as detailed on the attached map subject to certain conditions. Item F, an ordinance closing and abandoning an unopened right-of-way between 7757 and 7759 Iowa Gap Road as detailed on the attached map subject to certain conditions. Item G, an ordinance closing and abandoning a portion of a right-of-way located in the 1600 block of Rossville Avenue as detailed on the attached map subject to certain conditions. Item H, an ordinance closing and abandoning a portion of the unopened right-of-way located in the 1500 block of East 38th Street as detailed on the attached map subject to certain conditions. Item I, an ordinance closing and abandoning an open right-of-way located in the 6900 block of Concord Circle as detailed on the attached map subject to certain conditions.
Councilman Hester, please.
Move to approve.
Have a motion to approve. I do hear a second. Questions, comments before we vote? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Items carry. Madam Clerk, ordinances on first reading this evening. Council Office Item A, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code Part 2, Chapter 11, Article 21, Downtown Central Business Improvement District, Downtown CBID, Section 11531, estimated cost and rate of levy, special assessment procedure for certain nonprofit organizations.
Councilman Smith. Have a motion to approve. I do hear a second. Questions, comments before we vote? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carries. Madam Clerk, resolutions, human resources. Item A, please.
A resolution to amend resolution number 31248 to authorize the Chief Human Resources Officer to enter into an agreement with 22nd Century Technologies, Inc. for temporary employment services for a 3-year blanket contract with 2 possible renewals of 1 year each for an annual amount not to exceed $2 million.
Chair will entertain a motion. Have a motion to approve. Do hear a second. Questions, comments before we vote? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Under Mayor's Office, Madam Clerk, would you please read and without objection from the council as a package, items B through P, please?
Item B.
Oh, I apologize. I said through P. Yes, sir. You good, Councilman? Yeah. Okay. You
Item
good,
B.
Councilwoman? I see your light. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Madam Clerk, please.
Yes. A resolution to confirm Mayor Kelly's reappointment of Jim Williamson to the Form-Based Code Committee for a term beginning September 1, 2022 and ending on August 31, 2025. Item C, a resolution to confirm Mayor Kelly's reappointment of David Hudson to the Form-Based Code Committee for a term beginning on September 1, 2022 and ending on August 31, 2025. Item D, a resolution to confirm Mayor Kelly's appointment of Tanisha Irvin to the Form-Based Code Committee for a term beginning on September 1, 2022 and ending on August 31, 2025. Item E, a resolution to confirm Mayor Kelly's appointment of Sarah Brogdon to the Form-Based Code Committee for a term beginning on September 1, 2022 and ending on August 31, 2025. Item F, a resolution to confirm Mayor Kelly's appointment of Thomas Palmer to the Form-Based Code Committee for a term beginning on September 1, 2022 and ending on August 31, 2025. Item G, a resolution to confirm Mayor Kelly's appointment of Charles Young to the Board of Electrical Examiners for a term beginning on September 1, 2022 and ending on August 31, 2026. Item H, a resolution to confirm Mayor Kelly's reappointment of Ronald Pendergrass to the Board of Electoral Examiners for a term beginning on September 1, 2022 and ending on August 31, 2026. Item I, a resolution to confirm Mayor Kelly's reappointment of James Walker to the Board of Electrical Examiners for a term beginning on September 1, 2022 and ending on August 31, 2026. Item J, a resolution to confirm Mayor Kelly's appointment of Brenda G. Adamson to the Chattanooga-Hamilton County Regional Planning Commission for a term beginning on September 1, 2022 and ending on August 31, 2026. Item K, a resolution to confirm Mayor Kelly's appointment of Matt Lau to the Chattanooga-Hamilton County Regional Planning Commission for a term beginning on September 1, 2022 and ending on August 31, 2026. Item L, a resolution to confirm Mayor Kelly's appointment of Nathan Byrd to the Chattanooga-Hamilton County Regional Planning Commission for a term beginning on September 1, 2022 and ending on August 31, 2026. Item M, a resolution to confirm Mayor Kelly's appointment of Viamesh Desai to the Chattanooga-Hamilton County Regional Planning Commission for a term beginning on September 1, 2022 and ending on August 31, 2026. Item N, a resolution to confirm Mayor Kelly's appointment jointly with Hamilton County Mayor Carpenter of John Tucker to the Chattanooga-Hamilton County Air Pollution Control Board for a term ending on December 19, 2024. Item O, a resolution to confirm Mayor Kelly's appointment jointly with Hamilton County Mayor Carpenter of Shake Hofer to the Chattanooga-Hamilton County Air Pollution Control Board for a term ending on August 17, 2026. Item P, a resolution to confirm Mayor Kelly's appointment jointly with Hamilton County Mayor Carpenter of Sandra Cost to the Chattanooga-Hamilton County Air Pollution Control Board for a term ending on August 7, 2023.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Councilwoman Hill, followed by Dr. Burrs.
Thank you,
followed
Sean.
by Councilwoman Knoll. So
All right, thank you.
I'm watching
Chair.
it on and off there. All right.
I just wanted to say that I am really excited about this slate of candidates for all of our boards and commissions and about the next slate that are coming next week. We have a lot of work to do on boards and commissions, and I applaud the Kelly administration for its commitment to One Chattanooga. And I'd love it tonight if anybody here is going to be going onto a board. If you're here, would you please stand? I know somebody mentioned to me that one of my new colleagues on the Planning Commission, Brenda Jean Adamson, is going to be joining us. It's here tonight. So if anybody would stand, I'd love just to give you a round of applause if you don't mind. Ooh. Yeah, we're going to have before and after Planning Commission. It's a heavy lift, and it means a lot for all of these Chattanoogans to offer their time to serve our community. So thank you, Chair, for that privilege.
You want to take a chance to make a motion on that?
I would love to make a move to approve.
All right, we do have a motion to approve, but I have Dr. Burrs next. I do have a second from Dr. Burrs. Councilwoman Knoll?
I just wanted to recognize Ms. Adamson as well, but you beat me to the punch. So thank you for willing to serve.
Thank you for everybody willing to serve your community, being on boards and commissions, being on Planning Commission myself for 5.5 years. I tell you, it's a real service to your community, and I applaud you and thank everyone for doing it. Thank you. We have a motion to approve. I do hear several seconds. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? I don't think so. All right. Appointments carry. Thank you. Item Q, Madam Clerk, please.
A resolution authorizing an interlocal agreement with the Chattanooga Housing Authority, CHA, to house 100 homeless individuals at a rate of $600 per individual for a period of 1 year for a total amount not to exceed $60,000.
Dr. Burrs.
Move approval.
I have a motion to approve. I do have a second. Questions, comments before we vote? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item carries. Madam Clerk, item R, please.
A resolution to approve a $750 per person transition supplement to 48 employees affected by the conversion from weekly to biweekly payroll for a total amount not to exceed $36,000.
Chair will entertain a motion. Seeing, I have a motion to approve from Councilman Hester. I do not hear a second for this motion. The motion does not carry and fails for lack of a second. Under Parks and Public Works, item S, please, Madam Clerk.
A resolution authorizing Chattanooga Parks and Outdoors to enter into a 4-year contract with Perfect Mind, Inc., RFP 200216, Parks and Recreation Management Software and Services, Park Management and Reservation Software. First year will not exceed $50,000, and each subsequent year not to exceed $10,000 for a 4-year term to begin September 1, 2022.
Councilman Hester.
I want to move to approve this.
Have a motion to approve. I do hear a second. Questions, comments before we vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item carries. Public Works items T and U will take as a package if no objection from council, please.
Item T, a resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Public Works to approve change order number 1 with Jacobs Engineering Group, Inc. for contract number W16022-101 MBWWTP Equalization Basin and Blower Replacement Improvements to add a second year of construction services, resident project representation, and to increase the contract by $497,285 for revised contract total amount of $2,541,477. Item U, a resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Public Works to renew contract number W21002-201 manhole rehabilitation blanket contract for year 2 of a 3-year term to Video Industrial Services, Inc. of Birmingham, Alabama for $270,000 plus a $30,000 contingency for a total amount of $300,000.
Councilman Henderson.
Move approval.
Have a motion to approve. I do hear a second to that motion. Questions, comments before we vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Items carry. Thank you. That concludes our resolutions and ordinances for this evening. Now we move into purchases. Mr. Goldberg, are you coming for purchases this evening? We have 2 purchases and 3 RFPs. We have 0 emergency purchases this evening.
Yes, sir. First item tonight is Parks and Outdoors, new blanket contracts for horticultural, I can't talk tonight, and green infrastructure on-call maintenance. 15 bids were received and the award goes to the following 13 vendors. These will be four-year contracts with a combined annual amount not to exceed $1,700,000. The vendors are Qualis, Conservation Legacy, Davis Key Outdoor, Dragonfly Pond Works LLC, Evergreen Site Solutions, Invasive Plant Control Inc., Knox Goats, Living Roofs Inc., Scenic City Arborist LLC, The Rewilding Collective, Tierra Environmental Consulting LLC, Waterways, and Wild Violet Permaculture. The second item is for the fire department. This is a one-time purchase of 6 fire apparatus replacements. This is 4 pumpers, 1 quint, and 1 ladder, as Chief Hyman described earlier today. This purchase utilizes Sourcewell contract 113021 RVG4. The vendor is Spartan Emergency Response, and the amount is $5,655,000 from capital funds.
Have a motion to approve purchases this evening. I do hear a second. Questions, comments before we vote? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Purchases are approved. We have 3 RFPs this evening.
Yes, Mr. Chair. We are requesting approval to issue these RFPs, not approval to award contracts at this time. The first one is Parks and Outdoors, an RFP for concessionaire services at the Summit Complex, Warner Park, and Frost Stadium. Second, for the Mayor's Office, RFP for development and supportive services to convert the airport inn into permanent supportive housing. And third, from the Mayor's Office, RFP for community violence interruption technical assistance. RFPs are necessary because competence, qualifications, and project approach are more important than price in making a purchasing determination for these 3 items.
Dr. Burrs, think you have a motion to approve our RFPs this evening. I do hear a second to that motion. All questions, comments before we vote? All in favor say aye. Opposed? RFPs are approved. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Goldberg. Moving into committee reports, I believe I'll start with Councilwoman Coonrod this evening. All right, Councilwoman Knoll, Dr. Burrs, Councilman Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We did have an ad hoc committee meeting this afternoon on short-term vacation rentals. We heard a presentation from Chris Acuff, our UTC research analyst, and we are planning on meeting again in 2 weeks for some follow-up, and hopefully at that time begin talking about some actual legislative changes or amendments to the ordinance. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for your hard work on that committee, all of you who are serving on that. Councilwoman Hill?
We are going to start a short week off well with the planning committee on Tuesday the 6th.
Tuesday, the 6th, Planning and Zoning, one of my favorite days. Councilman Smith?
No report.
All right, Madam Vice Chair?
No report.
No report. Very good. We'll now move into other business. We have a certificate of compliance. Mr. Attorney, you want to read that for us?
Yes, sir. It is a certificate of compliance for MAPCO number 7553 at 2282 Encompass Drive, Chattanooga, Tennessee, 37421. And it is authorized to be signed this night. And also the council has already approved it.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Also in other business this evening, Councilman Henderson, you have a letter you'd like to read into the record.
I do. Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is from Judge Russell Bean. Judge Bean has been our city court judge, Division 2, for the past 22 years, and he's retiring at the end of the month. And he hand delivered a letter that he asked that I would read this afternoon to the council, and it's to the Chattanooga City Council. The letter states, "This is meant not only for the present city council members, but also for those council members who have served for the last 22 years. I wanted to personally thank each of you for the support you have given me during the time that I have been city judge. I feel as though I have had a good relationship with all of the mayors I have served with and all of the city council members. Both the mayors and the city and the council have been very supportive of me. In particular, I want to thank Mayor John Kinsey for appointing me, and I thank the people of Chattanooga for electing me to this awesome position that I have cherished so much. Sincerely, Russell Bean, Chattanooga City Judge. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilman, and thank you, Judge Bean, for your many years of service to our fair city. We now come to the part in our agenda which concludes our order of business, and we are now recognize persons wishing to address the council this evening. Is there anybody wishing to address the council this evening? If so, I'll have Mr. Attorney read our rules for public speaking.
Yes, sir. At the end of every council meeting, the chair will recognize members of the public that wish to address the council. Here's your rules. Each speaker wishing to address the council can be recognized only at the microphone up front provided for that purpose. No person can have more than 3 minutes to speak, and the speaker may address the council only upon matters within the council's legislative and quasi-judicial authority and not on matters which are under the authority of other governmental bodies or agencies. You can't use any vulgar or obscene language, nor use the floor to personally attack or personally denigrate others, and address your comments to the council as a whole and not make comments directed towards individual council members. You can do this one time a day. The chair will not permit disorderly conduct or disrupting a public meeting, which is prohibited under Tennessee law. And a person commits an offense if the person substantially obstructs or interferes with the meeting by physical action or verbal utterance with the intent to prevent or disrupt a lawful meeting. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, my name is John. I may look familiar at this point. I've started attending council meetings in the last month or so. And the first time I came was for very reactionary meetings. There was something happening I didn't like and I showed up. So I'm making a commitment moving forward to show up and encourage decisions that I think are made in behalf of those who are underrepresented and unable to attend meetings like this, whether it's because of their state or economic status or how busy they are. And my main MO and the thing that interests me most about the power and authority in this room is the ability to make Chattanooga a livable, walkable, and pedestrian-friendly community in all of our neighborhoods. I am pro-business. I am pro-UGC in the votings and the decisions that you've made to encourage business. But I also think that changes need to be made to increase the ability for people to commute in other forms of transportation other than the car, to reduce traffic, and to make housing more affordable. I think the most interesting parts of our city are walkable spaces like the North Shore and St. Elmo. And the neighborhoods with the most potential are places like Glass Street and Macaulay Avenue. Yet the people that can show up here and talk and make changes, the contractors, the business people, are not the people that are living in those communities. Recently, Glass Street in that area became a food desert. I live in Highland Park, and even myself, if I didn't have access to a car, which the average car payment right now is $700 a month nationwide, if I didn't have access to a car, it would mean an hour-long trip to the Food City on 23rd Street, which would only give me groceries that I could carry myself. I think there are small incremental changes and zoning opportunity changes that could increase the freedom of people who aren't able to make these meetings and give them the ability to start their own businesses and increase affordable housing without having to create TIFs for every neighborhood, which is impossible to do. So you'll see from me, you'll hear from me. I'm here to encourage and to align myself with the city when I see that happening. But I'm also here to sort of speak on behalf of those who don't have the freedom and the ability to show up to these meetings. And I'm interested in meeting with every one of you on sidebar conversations and hear how I can be more helpful to making sure that these changes come to the neighborhoods that I feel are sometimes left out of the conversation because they don't have the same autonomy as those people with excess money and business opportunities. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Look forward to talking to you more. Anyone else wishing? Steve?
Good afternoon. I'm Steve West. I live at 5280 Rotary Drive, Chattanooga, Tennessee. I'm gonna pass the thing out for all of y'all. And this thing that was in the EIG about the pay plan. Years ago, I was on that thing to make the EIG. For some reason, the city now, or they misinterpreting what that says for their benefits. And really what I'm talking about is they're changing all of us to biweekly. A lot of us, men and women, we get paid every week. It's only 48 of us. But when it came to us, they told us they had to change us because it takes too much time. How it takes too much time for 48 people when they got all 2,000 that they still have to do. So there's no way 48 people take that much time to make a adjustment to the pay thing. Only thing what we're asking now is that right there, make that stand up, because you changing our livelihood. And if they don't think it is, but I guess if I made $100 and something thousand a year, I guess I wouldn't care about the ordinary person either. So I'm just asking, if y'all have the power to let them to leave it like it is, it's only 48 of us. And you got, I know at least about 4 people gonna retire this year. And Ms. Burrs, you remember when Daisy Madison came down here and asked for all this money for this new machine to make pay things better? Y'all granted that. This council granted it. But now they want to change it all again, once again, just to hurt 48 people. When we have our bills and all this stuff set up, and I'm gonna just take myself for instance, got a new truck. Now I have to go and tell these people, I got to change it from every week to every 2 weeks. That's wrong. It's a slap in the face to us of 48 people. And every one of us 48 people got over 20 years here that we have gave our lives to this city. And now this administration want to come in and just change it, just destroy our lives, tear our lives up. That's not fair to us. So I'm just asking you all, if y'all can stop this, to let them leave us 48 people alone, because every year it's dwindling down. And if you go by the thing where it used to be, it was over 400. And look at where it's at now. It's not going to hurt to leave us at weekly pay, because a lot of us have our bills that way. And yes, they gave us incentive, and one of the incentives that y'all voted down tonight. And, you know, we're fine with that. But at least let us stay where we're at. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. West.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Edward Green Jr. That's Green with an E on the end. I stay at 4101 Gale Drive. I'm in District 9. I would like to ask the city council to explain to me. It seems that we have more lawn care businesses than one city could imagine. And they're blowing the grass out in the street, and it's going into the sewer. It's affecting a lot of homeowners around the area that I live. In the 900 block of Charlotteford Road, when you go down Charlotteford Road, you think that you are going through to the Bahamas, because it's such a peaceful looking sight, but the trees are growing up into the wires, and those trees need to be trimmed before we have a bad storm, and it's going to dislocate a lot of the wiring in the old homes in that area. We've had that to happen once before, and the gentlemen who came to town revealed to us that a lot of the wiring had not been updated. I think it's sad when homeowners who are taxpayers come to city council meeting and request the minimum things that you all pass for public works. I know those gentlemen are overworked and underpaid, but in the area in which I live, there's so much clutter on the streets and on the corners where people have set stuff out, and I don't know what the time frame is. Can we get Public Works some help and get that area cleaned up? Because the area in which I live is an eyesore because of all of the clutter on the corners. I just think that this is something that the representatives in that area could take care of. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Green.
Good evening.
Evening.
My name is Stefan Trimble, and I'm one of the 48 affected with the city biweekly. I feel that I've been here 26 years, and among other 48, we've got over 1,000 years. We feel that if of the pay when the people retire would be an honest and good thing for the 48 people. Me, myself, I mean, y'all shot down the solution, but we still have a problem. I'm not good at speaking, so bear with me.
You're fine.
I have another solution, maybe. They want us to go bi-weekly. I feel that if they give us the 80 hours that they are trying to take from us, if they give it to us and let everything roll over, then that would be a perfect solution. But we got to work together on it. And that's about all I got to say about that.
Thank you.
Just think about it.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Hit your light.
Yes, ma'am. What they're planning to do is take 80 hours of our time, which some of us doesn't have to give. They're taking 80 hours and applying it to basically retirement time. You won't get it back until you leave. So we've been grandfathered in that time. The 48 of us. We've been grandfathered in that time. Now they're trying to take the grandfather clause back. We need our 80 hours.
So when you say that you're okay, well, I guess I don't.
Hit your light.
So you're saying that you're okay with getting paid every other week if they give you back your 80 hours?
If they advance us the 80 hours that they're trying to take. I mean, I don't have 8 hours to just, okay, I got to give. And a lot of us don't.
So I guess what I'm saying is
I'm only speaking for myself.
yeah,
but
we had this discussion on some other issues before about various options.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're okay with getting paid every other week, so long as there's some sort of an option to make up the difference for you?
Yes, ma'am. I
I've
feel
got a
that that
great
would
deal
be-
of
I
respect
feel-
for the
I feel
work
that
you've
would-
done.
yes,
I'm
yes,
just
ma'am.
asking.
Yes, ma'am. I feel
I
like
just want
that
to make
would,
sure I understood.
I feel like that would be an option. I mean, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Burris.
How you doing? My name is Tracy Andrews. I live at 1101 Bellmead. And I wanted to ask the question is, how can the grandfather clause just get stowed away? We didn't know, they didn't come to us and ask us no questions about nothing. It was like, sign this piece of paper, your pay getting changed next week. And that's all it was. They didn't come to us, asked us nothing way before they discussed this or nothing. It was just like, this what it is and this what we got to do. And we had to turn the paper in Monday, and they just had the meeting last week. Now all of us got to change everything that we do in a week. We got to change everything. I'm going on 26 years myself. It's just like every year we go backwards. Everybody that done been there now, it's like we take us a year backwards every year instead of going forward. And we done gave half our life. No, that's all I really got to say. I just wonder about the grandfather clause, how they just can change it. Just up and just change it.
Dr. Burris.
So let me ask you this. Who were they that came to you?
I guess the payroll people, whoever can't do the payroll or whatever.
So they said, sign this paper, we're
They
changing
gave us a
things.
paper saying that you can either let them take 80 hours or you can let them take so many hours and pay them back, pay the hours back. They take so many hours from you.
Mhm.
So they gave us the paper one day. And the weekend to look at the paper and had to turn the paper back in Monday.
And what
Now-
happened if you didn't? What was your understanding of what
If you
happened
didn't
if
turn the
you?
paper in, you just gonna get switched. So this week coming up, we all finna have our pay switched for something that we didn't even know about.
Okay.
But thank y'all.
Thank you. Councilman Coonrod, I see your light is on, followed by,
Thank you, Chair. To my
Madam Vice Chair.
understanding, we were told at the 3:30 agenda meeting that this was something I already worked out with SCIU, that everybody was already in agreement about what was taking place with the pay changes. So, I mean, what I'm hearing is coming up saying they had no idea what was going on. So I guess on my end, I would love to see just like out the police union and get with all these other and employees, and they came to the table and they worked it out. So we should be able to offer that same opportunity with SEIU and our city employees, because police are city employees too, to talk about the decisions and work out an agreement that everybody agree on. Like, I just don't think that's right if we're being told that this took place and the employees that's coming up here now saying they had no idea. They received a piece of paper and told they need to sign it and then it go into effect. Like, that's not the way that we should be treating our employees, because when our police, which are employees for the city, when they had an issue, it was a whole different situation. So that's the issue. And I don't want to feel like that I was lied to just to try to get something passed from city council, because that ain't cool either. If SEIU and our employees wasn't on agreement, we shouldn't have been told that at all, because that's not cool.
Madam Vice Chair, I see your light.
Yes, I just saw that Stephen had his hand up when I think Councilwoman Burris was asking about who came and gave them the information. So are you going to answer the question, or? Well, Stephen,
I just
did
want
you
to be
have-
very clear
did you have
about
anything else?
something. So first off, the process was outlined for employees on August 22nd with the deadline to work on August 30th. Now, we have been in extensive conversation with CIU about what would be sufficient, and certainly they did register their opposition to the pay switch at all. And I think I said that at the 3:30 meeting. And in their perspective, they would prefer that we do not switch. And I think I was quite clear about that. SEIU membership, and I think I'm fairly representing this here, did not like this change, and I think the administration chose to do it anyway because we think it's for the betterment of the city. As I want to be very clear that in addition to that, the affected employees, and Brent, correct me if I'm wrong, had an opportunity to understand the depth of the change. It was not just a piece of paper. There was a sort of stepped through process where we explained the rationale behind our decision, what options were going to be available, and there was a graphic that kind of walked folks through, and then there were further discussions, including up till Friday. So again, I just want to be clear that whilst there may be reasonable people that disagree with this decision, I don't want it to be misconstrued that simply a piece of paper showed up. Brent, do you have anything to add to that?
I'll just, for the record, I'm the one that went and talked to the employees. I went down to the Paul Clark building. We had 2 groups scheduled over 2 hours. We met with all 48 employees, explained the change, including some graphics, the information that was needed for them to understand the change. We also gave each employee a personalized sheet of paper that showed the choices to either just delay and get on the new pay cycle and how much they would get paid each week, and then which weekly checks would be skipped to get onto the biweekly cycle, or the option to advance PTO, which would mean that they would get paid out for PTO, which means they would get paid out for 2 weeks more than what they would normally get paid if they just continued on weekly pay or took the delay and switched to biweekly. So we provided all that information. We did encourage for them to speak to their pay clerk or supervisor if they had questions or needed to understand anything. We provided walkthrough documents to the supervisors. But we did meet on the 22nd, and we originally asked them to turn in the forms by that Friday, so they had the week. Then we delayed it to Monday. Then we delayed it to Tuesday. And then today we delayed it to Wednesday to try to, but Wednesday is kind of the deadline for us to stay on the schedule in order to get through a pay conversion by the end of the calendar year, which is when PTO resets. So, that's the only clarification I would add.
And I just want to finally add one more point. This administration has demonstrated, and this council has demonstrated, that we care very deeply about our employee base with a historic investment into the pay plan that saw some city employees 36% increase in their pay. The average pay increase north of 13%. That was the first year that this administration was in office. And then finally, we followed that up with a 3% cost of living adjustment. Like, we obviously care very deeply about this administration, and this administration cares very deeply about its workforce. And we think the SEIU has fantastic representation. They fight very hard for every single issue. And I think they should. That's what unions ought to do. And I think that's what you're seeing. Its job, it's demonstrating its displeasure, and we have a fundamental disagreement with a particular issue regarding some pay plan issues, or rather not pay plan, but the biweekly versus weekly pay. And we're going to agree to disagree on this particular issue. But I just wanted to issue that clarification. I'm sure Jason may step in and add some additional context or disagree with me on a number of issues. I know that the SEIU membership and their stewards, who are very dedicated to their jobs and their union, will also have a disagreement with me on that. But I wanted to be very clear about the administration's perspective on this.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. Thank you. My name is Kiana George. I still don't know which district I'm in because I'm still houseless. I mostly came up to just echo JoJo's ideas about more affordable public transportation. I have been starting to go to school at Chat State 5 days a week from 7:30 to 2:30 every single day. I live in Hickson. It's only a 10-minute drive from where I live to get to Chat State. But if I decide to take the bus, it takes an hour because there is not a shuttle from Hickson to Chat State. I have to take a bus downtown and then take a transfer on Amnicola to get to school. So I think that that's a little bit silly that there's not a shuttle, and maybe I should talk a little bit more to Chat State about that. But if we're trying to talk about more accessible public transportation, I think that that's part of it, as well as when we are talking about trying to be accessible to communities, there's a lot of communities that still continually get forgotten about, and most of those communities are poor communities. And so if you try to walk anywhere, um, just trying to walk from Hickson and Red Bank to go to like Chat State or anywhere else, there are no sidewalks and you have to walk on the road. I don't know how many of you guys have actually had to walk somewhere, but walking next to cars is kind of terrifying. One of the other things that I want to bring up as well, and I'll probably talk to Sam Wolf about this afterwards, but I don't think that $60,000 for the homelessness community is enough. I think that only giving 100 people 1 year is still not enough. I think it's something and it's a good place to start, not enough. So thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Jason Brown, and I'm the organizer for the City Employees Union. So I'll be glad to answer any questions you might have about what's going on with the weekly to bi-weekly transition. It's true what Joda said. We do disagree. We feel like the only people who were present during the creation of this EIG, between the administration that's here now, I think Brent may have been, but our people, they know what that language meant. And it was intended to keep the people who were currently at that time being paid weekly to continue to be paid as attrition takes place. The city just on that interpretation, but we have folks who were at the table at the time that it was discussed. And it seems clear to us, we did make an objection initially to that. They said they disagree, and we continued to have conversation about how we could make it happen with the least impact to employees, despite the fact that our simple request is that it just not happen, and that's the easiest fix from our perspective. We did continue to have conversations about how we could make it happen. Tonight, one of those ideas didn't make it past the council, which is fine. But we do feel like that asking employees who have given a lot of their lives to the city and who, given a few years from now, probably the list will be less than half of what it is now, seems unreasonable to us. And I don't think it's asking too much for you to consider not making that change. And we will continue to have dialogue with the city. We do support Mayor Kelly and his agenda for the most part. I'm not here to relitigate the raises that were given to us. I think we've said thank you a lot, and we mean it to both the council and the mayor. But this is another issue that just requires our attention. I'll be glad to answer questions.
Madam Vice Chair.
Actually, my question is for Joda, please.
Okay.
Just
Yes,
real
ma'am,
quick, and I
Vice
know
Chair.
we went over this at 3:30, and I believe you just mentioned some of it now along with Brent. But as far as the reasoning for this, could you just state again what the reasoning for it is, and is this purely out of just convenience for the city, or what is?
Yeah, so it's primarily two things. One is that it does whenever we've got 48 employees who really take the same amount of time to process payroll. And I know that sounds crazy, but it does, because you've got to go through the same process to run that payroll for 48 folks as you do for 2,500. And whenever our payroll staff are on every week processing a payroll, that significantly reduces their capacity to go and respond to problems that happened in the previous payroll. And there are always inevitably problems. And so by switching over to a bi-weekly schedule for everybody, that gives an on-off schedule where our payroll staff is processing payroll 1 week and then fixing problems the next. We just do not currently have that capacity right now due to a weekly payroll. And then the second piece is that from a customer, well, that really gets to it, right? It takes up more time for our city payroll staff to run a payroll as much time as it does for the rest of the city. And then second, to free up more of that time for going and providing better customer service for our employees, frankly. Brent, did I miss anything? I think those are the two primary reasons we're making this change. And this was a change that this administration did not identify, or this is not an original issue that we've identified. This goes back to the Littlefield administration, where they've been trying to make this change for some time. And there were some employees who were grandfathered into the process and kept their weekly pay. But ultimately, we would like to complete the change because it would be a significant improvement for the city.
All right, thank you.
I think I had maybe 30 seconds left. I'd just like to say one final thing about the outreach to employees. It's true, Brent met with a group of folks affected by this. I don't think our members and employees left with a good understanding of what their options were. And I know for a fact that the ones I talked to today still don't have a good understanding of what their options are. And to be frank, a couple of the options that we discussed may have even occurred after that initial conversation. So we're asking for education, outreach, but simply we'd like you to not do it. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Yes, sir.
Okay. My name is Edward Curtis. I live in East Lake on 13th Avenue. I got a problem with the city of Chattanooga Water Company, Tennessee American Water Company. You got a problem with them. You try to iron it out with them, but you don't have no local place here to talk to that. You got to call 1-800 in order to get somebody. Why come you can't have nobody here? I mean, we used to have somebody here in the city that handles everything, but now you got to go out of town to get something done. That's ridiculous. There's too many people in the city that get water from Tennessee American Water Company not to have a representative here, an office building here to handle the local problems. I got a water leak on 40th Street that I've talked to them 3 times. Well, Mr. Curtis, they come out there and paint the street. Paint but the guy ain't came out to fix nothing yet. And it's not costing me anything because it's not doing my water, not running my water up, but somewhere there's a leak on that street and nobody's there to fix it. Now, I've called them 3 times. They said they'd be out there on Saturday, on September the 3rd. If they're not here on September 3rd, I'll be back here the next week and tell you about it. But I think this is ridiculous. I mean, big as the city is, you got all these people paying all these water bills. You don't have nobody here to represent us at all. Y'all just gave it away, didn't you? The city council just gave it away. As usual, you're always giving stuff away. Thank you.
All right. Anyone, Councilwoman Coonrod? I'm sir, I apologize. Did you hear our rules? We have one time.
I just wanted to.
Thank you.
I just wanted to.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank Councilwoman Coonrod for.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yep. Councilwoman?
Thank you, Chair. And after I say this, I promise you I'm going to leave it alone because I'm a bit frustrated in my seat because I want to make sure that I'm clear and I ain't going to insert the eye rolling. But for me, it's about fairness. And I'm going to bring it up and I'm going to go there. I'm just going to go there, Chair. Is that, and I wish that the same attitude was given to our chief of police when she made the decision as the chief of the police. But instead, we had groups of people, just like we got our employees that said, we're dissatisfied. All hell broke loose. Oh, and all this other stuff, what they were going to say against our chief of police because she felt she was doing the right thing and what she was asked to do. We got the same, and the administration raced around to try to mitigate this situation with the police union and employee groups. Here it is, we have a similar situation with our city employees and a union who's saying they have an issue. But the sense of urgency isn't given to these individuals who serve the public too, just like the police do. They just wear a badge and got a gun. But they're on the front line of the work when the stuff needs to be done for our city. Like, where's the respect for these people? And I heard Joe the way saying, okay, well, we want to be clear what this is where the administration stand. Well, it was clear when our chief of police said this is what she's saying. But instead, we undermined the chief of police. Just like here, what we're doing is like, we're not even giving them 1 ounce of care about their issue. Or we're not saying, or I don't see any newspaper article saying we're going to rally up these employee groups for our city workers and get with the union to try to mitigate this. And that's my problem. But like I said in the interview, we know what it is when it came to our chief of police. But I'm about to, because there's some more that I could say about it, but I'm going to end it. Because this ain't right. If you're not going to take the time to educate about what's going on, or I guess it lays in the hand of the city council to make the decision on if we're going to, it clearly says it here in the EIG. And if none of them got a pay raise, then why are we even changing it? I don't see no legislation that come before council saying that we want to change it. Nothing has come, but yet we're saying, oh, this is the reason why we want to do it. Because listen, if that's the case, we need to overhaul everything that we do, because we can't even hold the stuff accountable to the stuff that need to be done. So now this one time that we owe all the payroll errors, now we want to give it our undivided attention when we hadn't given undivided attention to all the other issues within the city of Chattanooga. This gonna be the one thing. This the fight we gonna pick. I'm gonna end it at that.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening.
Good
My
evening.
name is Stacy Smith, and I work in the brush department. And I would like to say the reason why a lot of the trash and the brush is still on the street and we hadn't picked it up, for one, we don't have enough garbage drivers. So therefore, they pulled the brush department to drive the garbage truck. So that's pulling us away from our job. Now, therefore, changing their pay from weekly to every week, but we need to be focusing on putting more bodies in these garbage trucks and in our trucks that we have available so we can clean the city up. That put us behind when we get pulled from our job. We're doing 2 jobs for getting 1 paycheck. That's not fair to us at all. That's why the public is complaining. We have to explain to them when we come to pick up their brush or their trash, why it's been sitting here so long, why their brush turned from green to brown and has killed their grass. Why? Because we don't have enough drivers, but we're being pulled to drive the garbage truck. That's very unfair to the brush department. Very unfair. That put us behind. We can't get caught up because we're doing another job that we're not even getting paid for. We're doing 2 jobs for 1 pay. And we'll never catch up. But you're here fighting about something when half of these guys are gonna retire. They can retire tomorrow, majority of them if they wanted to. But we need to be focused on getting bodies, and garbage is our first priority. Where's the focus on getting people in these trucks so the garbage can be picked up, or so the brush and the trash so we can clean this city? That's more important. Instead of guys that have to uproot their life, you have some on child support. That's gonna put them in the rear. We got this raise. The guys that been here longer, they make $2,000 more than I do. I understand they upset with that. About that, I would too, because I haven't been here as long as them. But they work just as hard and they have given half their life. Their kids, raised their kids and everything. But like Wes said earlier, if I made $100 and some thousand, I wouldn't care either. That's not my problem. That's theirs. It's unfair to us. We always get the short end of the stick. Public Works always get the short end of the stick. They make decisions whether they come to talk to us or not. This is how it is, and this is what it's gonna be. Because we was told this morning, those guys, if they did not sign that paper, they was gonna change it anyway, whether they signed the paper or not. That's unfair. That is unfair. Thank you, and that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
My name is Edward Gates. I work in Public Works. Like she said, everything can be split it up. Like in our department, If you ever come up there in the morning and see how many people getting out of trucks, it's 3 to a truck, to a crew cab. Now they're trying to pull us out of our truck to help run garbage. And we work in stormwater. You pulling our people from our department to go to other departments. Because when people come in and find we're getting paid every 2 weeks, they turn around and walk and jet. Because they got to put 2 weeks in the hole before they decide to get a paycheck. It's not fair to none of us. Because we got to come out of our department and go into other departments. Our hands up there. And we got families. Because every morning I come in that door, I walk in there, it's 3 of us to a truck. Me, a lead man, and a crew leader. That's it. And they ain't talking about making us help out in garbage. Okay, if you put us over in sanitation, who gonna do stormwater? Thank you.
Dr. Burrs.
So I'm not sure who answers this, whether it's Joda or I guess it's Joda. I'm going to ask him, sir. This is an administrative question I have to ask.
Yes, Councilwoman.
Okay, so walk me through this. So council, the idea of paying what we called earlier the bonus. I'm short.
Yeah, the transition supplement.
Yeah.
Yes.
That failed. So help me understand where we are now.
Yes. Because this council did not approve the transition supplement, it is our plan to proceed with a switchover, which would retain the 3 other options. And I will point out that the transition supplement was a decision that was reached in a proposal that was brought forward because of our discussion with the SEIU. And so I just want to point that out because that was a part of our discussions in the same way that we discuss with every employee group, a wide range of things to try and get to some resolution. Now, Brent, correct me if I'm wrong, but it is our current plan to proceed, unless this council says otherwise, with a switchover.
That's what I wanted to ask. Okay, so if you proceed, and this is for my information only, if you proceed, then are you in derogation of the egg?
No. After reviewing with our city attorney and our HR department and our leadership team, we do not feel that that is true. This is, once again, a disagreement with the SEIU. But our reading of the EIG basically says there are employees who get paid biweekly, there are employees who get paid weekly, and employees who get paid or who get promoted will be converted to biweekly. In no place does the egg say that biweekly or weekly employees must be paid weekly, that the administration has no right to switch them over. It just simply says that it is outlined what the current situation is.
Okay, one other question, and that is, I've heard here tonight we were grandparented in. Grandparented in to what?
So every new employee of the city of Chattanooga is on a biweekly pay schedule. There are 48 employees currently who are on a weekly pay schedule.
Mhm.
Many people were converted in a prior administration from weekly to biweekly. There are 48 folks left over.
Mhm.
And those 48 folks were grandfathered in, I believe it was in the Littlefield administration.
But what does grandfathered in mean? Does it mean that they go?
It wasn't a
under the-
formal policy. My understanding was that there was an effort to transition every employee at one point in time, and that there was a special class of employees who just didn't get, because there was the same exact conversation happened 12 plus years ago.
Okay, and then my last question. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I do remember that we got new equipment to make things quicker and payroll. I mean, there's not somebody with a green visor writing. Everything's automated on a computer. And so I'm trying to figure out why it takes as much time for, no, let me just get my head clear. As much time for 48, it's all a computer.
Yeah, I'll defer to Brent on that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get my head straight on that.
So prior to March, we had 4 employees in payroll for the entire
Okay.
city of Chattanooga.
Okay.
Which is pretty small. That's a very
Sure.
efficient payroll staff. Other governments, other private businesses have a higher ratio of payroll employees to employees. We've managed for a very long time with 4 people. However, with the conversion to Oracle Cloud, with job opportunities available in other departments, our payroll staff was down to 1 person. And then we had some temporary employees come in. We've since hired 1. So we have 2 permanent people in payroll, and then we have some temporary employees in payroll. The new system is designed differently in how it works. There's still issues with how, the departments put time in, approve time, and all those things. So the payroll department, historically and currently, they have to review everything that comes in from all the departments. They have to do edit checks. They have to run certain reports, run certain files that then get uploaded to the bank, that have to be uploaded to the bank in a certain way. It's not just push button and you do it. And then they also have
Do we
to
have the
review
programs to do that, or we really have people with visors doing
No,
it?
it's processed through Oracle Cloud, but there's no way to fully automate payroll anywhere without people doing edit checks,
Okay.
people confirming amounts, sending files to the bank, those sorts of things.
Okay.
So to process a weekly payroll, once it gets into the payroll department, it doesn't matter if it's 1 employee or 10,000 employees. It's the exact same process, start to finish. So if processing a weekly payroll for 40 employees every week, and then every other week, they also have to process an additional payroll on top of the weekly for all the biweekly employees. Fire is processed separately. Police is separately because of the nature of the pay. They get paid completely differently, and benefits are different. They don't pay Social Security, those sorts of things. So we actually have 4 payrolls right now: weekly, biweekly fire, and biweekly police. Our preference, and we think it's most efficient, to have biweekly civilian, biweekly fire, biweekly police that we process every 2 weeks. The other week would leave time for customer service to resolve issues, to help employees with pay questions, those sorts of things. And we simply just like the speaker mentioned earlier, we don't have enough staff for garbage, right? Garbage is a life safety issue. We have to pull people from other places to pick up garbage, because if we don't, we create a life safety issue throughout the city. We can't fully staff payroll right now. We can't fully staff accounts payable. It's the market that we're in, and it's not just us. Everyone has problems.
So we
with these
need more
positions.
regardless, we need more personnel.
Regardless, we
in
need more
pay.
personnel, but we also, believe in this administration that we should become more efficient in government. And even though it's hard, and even though people disagree, we really believe that the best thing for the city is to make changes that are the hard changes that no one else wanted to make for the past 18 years. And that's where we are today.
Last thing, I keep hearing if council will let us, or if council will approve us doing this. And that's purely administrative, isn't it?
Yes, we do not believe that council approval is required to do this. We believe we have the executive authority to do it. We don't believe that the EIG says we can't have conversion to biweekly payroll. The pay supplement was presented to council because we did believe that needed council approval if it was to move forward. The only thing that we need at this point is to go and do this administratively, unless you all pass a law that disallows it.
So that's where council would come in.
Correct.
Okay. And is there time for, or has this already happened? And this is what I'm unclear on. Is there time for people to choose among their options? Like we talked about with the other.
So they were provided with options 10 days ago. And on August 22nd, which was today's the 30th, I think that's 10 days. And provided with personalized sheets
Uh-huh.
in order to review it, ask questions, make a decision, turn it in so that we could process it in time, especially for people that want to advance payroll. That is, or advance PTO. That is a choice. We're not requiring anyone to advance PTO. They don't lose it. They get paid out for it, just like they would if they quit, next week. They get paid out for their PTO. So if you choose to have your PTO advanced, over a 6-week period, you're going to make 2 weeks worth of pay more than you would have if you don't choose to advance PTO. If you don't choose to advance PTO, you just get paid like you would have, the same exact amount of money, just a timing difference.
Is there
So-
any loss of PTO?
Well, for what they would get paid out for, those hours would be gone, but then they can accrue it back over time. But yeah, they would be getting paid out for PTO, so those hours would decrease.
Okay.
For people that don't have PTO available, we offered to advance the pay and have it taken out of their PTO accrual over the next 10 pay periods. So that was the third option. 18 years ago when this was done, there was a group of employees carved out from the conversion. Everyone else was forced to do the conversion. And I've been told that they were essentially forced to do the 80-hour leave. I wasn't here, so I don't know, but I have had several people tell me that.
Let's be
So-
respectful.
And that may or may not be true. It may have been an option just like it is now.
Sure.
But regardless, we're using that precedent to set up this process now, same way it was done 18 years ago. Last thing I would say is I mean, we extended the deadline. Currently, the deadline that we've communicated to supervisors to communicate to employees is tomorrow at noon, so that we can get things processed, especially for those who want to advance PTO. We would like to get that onto their September 8th check. That way they get extra money in their pocket if they need it up front as an advance. They'll still get paid for every hour they work. It's just a timing difference between when they get paid.
You're buying out the PTO to make the time
If they
difference.
want to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Unless they're being given a promotion, it doesn't read in here to say that the administration got the authority to overhaul this and make any changes unless it's been newly updated. So can you give us your opinion?
Mr. City Attorney.
Well, I guess it is an interpretation of the, employee guide that you have here. That has been adopted by resolution by the city council in connection with this matter, most recently adopted in 2019. And that language controls regarding this matter unless there is something else that this body does. That is your action that you took regarding the resolution. So if there's a dispute that arises in connection with this matter, it's based upon what you have adopted in your resolution.
Does that answer your question, Councilwoman? Okay. Well, we ended up having a public hearing tonight. Anyone else wishing to address council this evening? Yes.
Oh, man, I would not finna say nothing. Now I see all the problem. My name LeBron, and I am the silent maker. Peace. I hear public witness saying they ain't got enough help. So that's if the public witness don't have no help. Yes, sir, it's on their workout. When the bees and to pick up trash, they serve on their workout to make it easy on the city employee. They can do their job. You show on their end, serve the job out. That's what Warren Littlefield did. I did a lot of work with Warren Littlefield and John King's vacant lot. If y'all that serve the Sunday work out and would take pressure off the city people stuff. That the solution. Y'all need to think about that, sir. I am in the business picking up trash and license bond.
Thanks, LeBron. Anyone else wish to address council this evening? We'll entertain a motion to adjourn. We have a motion to adjourn. We are adjourned.
Hey, look, I love Brandon. You innovative idea. Hey, that was worth a shot. I appreciated it.